In the last video, I showed a lot of setting changes on my keyboard to make car wash sound really great. But you may have noticed that I ran through a list of settings and terms without taking much time to talk about what they mean or what they do. That was by design to make the song-based videos about performance and these fundamentals videos about, well, the techie knowledge how to do it part. So here we go with the first real fundamentals video, how to buy a synth.
Wait, what? How to buy a synth? How is that a tech question?
Yeah, I know, not what you're expecting, but hear me out. Keyboardists tend to buy what's new, what's hot, what everybody else is playing, or more likely, what can I get for X amount of dollars? The first synth that I ever bought was a mistake. The problem wasn't the synth, it was with me as the buyer. I didn't put much thought into what I wanted, nor what I was getting. Initially, I had saved up enough to buy a Roland JX3P. My college roommate had one. I played on it a couple times and liked it a lot. So the day came to go to the store, cash in hand. But they had just gotten the new Korg Poly 800.
Fight.
It had dual oscillators. The JX3P only had one. It had a realistic, for 1984, breathy flute sound. It could play 8 notes at a time. The JX3P could only play 6. This was the deal breaker for me. It took well past the return policy date for me to truly understand that what I had made was an unwise purchase. First of all, the JX3P had a place to plug in a damper pedal. The Poly did not. The JX had a dynamic analog filter which helped the sounds feel more expressive like a movie. The filter on the Poly sounded, well, very static, like a picture. And let's face it, how often can you use a realistic flute sound? The JX has 61 keys, the Poly 49. Dual oscillators? Guess what? The JX wins here too. I did not understand that when 2 oscillators were in use, it brought the polyphony, or total number of notes you could play at one time, down to 4. This is still true today, but modern synths have up to 4 stereo oscillators, or voices per sound, and at least 128 voices available. This means that if sound A uses 1 mono oscillator per note, you can play 128 notes simultaneously. However, sound B, using 4 stereo oscillators per note, would divide that 128 by 8, yielding a maximum number of 16 notes that can play simultaneously. That's still very good. The Poly's single oscillator sounds were not that pleasant. Yeah, that's how I felt about it too. Quite frankly, at the time, I really had no clue of what I wanted to do with it, and by the time I did, I realized that it was the wrong synth for the job. My fault. But with this background in mind, ask yourself the following questions before you buy your next keyboard. 61, 76, or 88 keys. 61 is the standard. They are generally easy to transport, but come with a light organ-style plastic keyboard. 76 are a rare but available option, usually the same plastic keyboard with a little more range. 88s usually have a weighted keyboard action to better simulate a real piano, but this adds pounds to the entire instrument. Also, ask yourself this question. Can an 88-note keyboard fit into the trunk or back seat of your car? True story. Guitar player in my 4-piece band wanted to go to the music store for strings or something. So we all hopped in his little Toyota and off we went. When we got there, I saw this Yamaha piano with a great sound and an even better price, so I bought it. The important question didn't come up until we walked out the store door. How in the hell are the 4 of us and this 100-pound, almost 5 feet long keyboard in a box going to get home in this little car? By my count, there are at least 5 different classes of keyboards. Workstation, many bells and whistles, but they tend to be expensive. Digital pianos and organs. Very few extra sounds, but better quality for the sounds that they do have. Workstation baby brothers. Watch out for these. They will have similar names as their flagship big brothers, but the cheaper price comes at the cost of less features and sound quality. Analog style synth. For some reason, these rehashes of 1970s tech are popular, but they don't have any acoustic or natural sounds. Controllers. If you have a good sound module or a selection of computer synth plugins, a controller, which does not make any sound itself, can be a great lower cost option. But you will need to know how to navigate patches with that module, or will need a powerful computer and know how not to exceed its limits. How does the hardware feel to you? Knobs, drum pads, ribbon controllers, rotary dials, sliders, and of course the keyboard action. Do they feel sturdy and easy to play, grab, tap, or handle? Have they been placed conveniently and respond naturally? Do you prefer the Yamaha two-wheel modulation and pitch bend approach, or the combined Korg and Roland joystick? How's the synth operating system?
Operating system? Like Windows or Mac OS?
No. I mean, what's it like to operate the keyboard? How easy is it to get to common and complex programming features? How useful is the front panel silk screening and display? Can you find what you need without having to open a manual? How many presets and user patches does it have? How easy is it to change sound banks, layers, samples, and sequences? Are the special features useful to you? Things like multiple outputs, extra controller inputs, audio inputs, and digital connections including mouse and/or a QWERTY keyboard. And don't forget about cases, amps, seats, stands, and pedals. Let's put all of this into perspective. Here's what I use and why. I play a Roland Fantom G6, which came out in 2008. After so many years of usage, I became concerned about the amount of wear and tear of moving it from gig to gig, state to state, even country to country. That concern led me to buy a second G6. Nothing else measured up to what I needed. Here's why. It's extremely rare when I need more than 61 keys, and if need be, I can easily program around it. Also, I can put it in the trunk or back seat of my car. The G6 is a full-fledged workstation. I don't need all the bells and whistles, but it's nice to have the options. For example, I never thought when I bought it that I'd ever use the sampler. Wrong. These strings, I sampled them from a Yamaha motif. Shh. The knobs have a rubberish coating on them which makes them easy to grip, and they have a good resistance so that you feel like you are turning something solid. The buttons click when you push them, and some even light up. The rotary dial has a soft click when you turn it so you can feel each increment. And the drum pads? Truth is, I hate them. The backlighting is fine when indoors, but too dim when playing outdoor festivals. They feel like a stiff sponge. And though they are velocity sensitive, they play more like on and off switches. But I do love that they serve multiple functions. It's got a ton of presets, patches, and user storage. With one button push, the pads change to allow numeric entry. This is a high priority for me. Programming songs in a change is nice as I can go from one song to the next with a foot pedal, but sometimes the set list changes on the fly and I don't have time to scroll through menus looking for the right song. I need to be able to directly type in the song number. I showed you why I love my G6 so much that I bought it twice. What I didn't tell you is about the synth I bought before the second G6 and why it's no longer used. I present to you the Roland Fantom F806 from 2014. Ooh, a new version of the Roland Fantom series? You know, I bought the first Fantom in 2000, and then I bought the G6 in 2008, so this one's got to be great, right? Not so much. Look, I know you were thinking this was some sort of all-pro Roland lovey-dovey fanboy video like I was trying to get a Roland sponsorship, which I will gladly accept. Call me! On the plus side, the front panel layout is similar to the G6. The multifunction keypad is backlit bright enough to be visible outside in daylight. The favorites wrap around from bank to bank. It costs a lot less, and that's about it. This is a good example of the workstation baby brother class I mentioned earlier. The throw of the keys feels artificial, and I've played Yamaha, chords, you name it, but this one feels noticeably weird. The volume sliders are gone and replaced by 4 multifunction knobs. Not as good for adjusting volumes on the fly. The screen is smaller and not designed as well. The pads do not include a dedicated number switch button. Sampling only works on the pads, not across the keyboard. It has a non-standard power connector. This is big because every keyboard that I have owned, with the exception of the battery-powered Korg Poly 800, have all used the same power cord that you use in amps, computer equipment, lots of things. So if and when that power cord shorts out, it's nearly impossible to find an emergency substitute on a gig. Singles and layers are integrated in a confusing way, so you have less storage, I think. It's only 10 pounds. Didn't think that was going to be an issue until the first time I did a glissando and nearly pushed the keyboard out the stand. It does not have a lot of the built-in sound sets that the G6 had, so I had to find alternate, less satisfying ones. Workstation baby brother, remember? In truth, most of this I realized before buying, but I could not find anything else better. Remember, my primary concern was wear and tear on my G6. Finding a second one was a better solution. I hope I have given you food for thought for the next time that you're in the market for a new keyboard. And for any keyboard manufacturers out there watching this video, I've got a few choice words for you. What the bloody hell?
I've been thinking of you and what we've been through. So please just hold me close and don't send me away, because I need you. The tragedy of love is that it must work both ways, and now you're joy.